my name is Ashlyn Mist. I'm 30 years old and I currently live in Ruidoso, New Mexico. I was born and raised in a small town in New Jersey, and then about a year and a half ago, I got a settlement from a lawsuit I was involved in, and I decided to use that money to move across the country to Phoenix. So I said goodbye to my friends and family. I packed up all my stuff, and me, my pit bull, and my mom came with us too. Drove 37 hours across the country. It took us 3 days. We drove like 16 hours a day. It was insane. It took forever. It was a horrible experience. It was a good bonding experience for me and my mom, but it was a long time in the car. It was too much in the car. But so I moved out to Phoenix, and I started webcamming. I'd been webcamming back in New Jersey a little bit, but I really got into it when I moved to Phoenix because I had 2 master bedrooms with 2 walk-in closets. So one closet was just dedicated to my lingerie, and the other closet was dedicated to my regular clothes. So I wasn't living with my mom anymore, so I really got into camming. And then I met this guy on um, Chatterbait. He came into my room and asked me for a PM, a private message. So I messaged him. We talked on the phone. He jerked off while we talked, and I remember he made me tell him that I loved him. I thought it was kind of weird, but then I was struggling to pay my rent, and I couldn't really find a job out there because it was the off season, so it was hard to find a job. And he offered me the support that I needed. I hate to say that, but yeah, he came into my life at the right time. So he offered to move in and help pay half my rent. So we met on a Tuesday. He lived in Ruidoso, New Mexico, where I live now, and he came out to Phoenix for his nephew's graduation, and we met up. He came to my apartment. He said he was reluctant to come, almost bailed, but decided to come anyway. He came to my apartment. I was in the middle of camming, so I answered the door in lingerie or something. And then we ended up hooking up. We put on a show that night. We had like a couple thousand viewers in our room. It went really well. So that was a Tuesday. He agreed to move in with me that Friday. So he came home. I thought he was lying. We talked on the phone every day. And then he actually packed his shit up and moved in with me that Friday. So I came up with all this notebook of like all these role play ideas and camming shows we could do and games we could play and stuff. I thought we were gonna have like a really good webcam career, but we just ended up fighting every time we were on cam. I would get a text and he would get mad and say, "That's your other boyfriend," or people would come into the room and say, "How do you fuck that guy? He's so hairy," or "He has a small dick," and he would be like, "It must be someone you know putting me down on purpose," and he would just like walk off cam and then leave me there looking stupid. So it really wasn't fun to cam with him at all. And then he would cam by himself and jerk off for hours, and then we'd try to have sex, and he couldn't have sex because he'd been jerking off for hours. So he would get mad and frustrated and take it out on me, and like it was just a really unhealthy relationship. And then in November, he was mad at me, and I was like, "Let's go for a walk. Let's try and talk," you know. So we went for a walk, and he was ignoring me the whole time, and we were walking down the sidewalk, and the sidewalk ended, so he abruptly crossed the street and didn't look and was struck by a car going pretty fast, and I thought he was going to be dead. I was freaking out. I'm like, "Babe, babe, babe," and he just was rolling on the ground like, "I'm in so much pain, I'm in so much pain." It was really horrible, and I have bad anxiety, so I started having a panic attack, and people were driving by and stopping, and the girl who hit him wouldn't get out of the car. She just sat there like frozen, and I'm banging on her window like, "Call 911, call 911," because neither of us, I didn't have my cell phone, and I didn't think he had his either. And she didn't call. Another car that saw driving by stopped and called 911, and she just kept saying, "It was so dark, I saw you, I didn't see him, I was looking at you, I didn't see him." And he felt his mouth and his front tooth was missing, and he goes, "You knocked my tooth out." And she goes, I didn't knock your tooth out. Your tooth fell out when you hit the sidewalk. I'm like, bitch, you gotta be fucking kidding me. But I'm too busy having a panic attack and trying to gather his shoes and find his tooth and all this shit. And then a fire truck comes and then an ambulance comes and they load him up and I sit in the front seat of the ambulance. I'm asking everyone if they have a cell phone I can call my mom from, and no one's letting me use their cell phone. They're like, you have to wait till you get to the hospital. I don't have a cell phone. Yeah, I believe that you don't own a cell phone. But every turn we made, he was screaming in pain, and it was like a horrible fucking experience. And then he was in the hospital for weeks, and then he had to go to a rehab center, and then he had to be on a walker for a couple months. It was just like a really horrible experience filled with panic attacks. And then he started having panic attacks and it made my panic attacks worse, and it was just really horrible. So after that, he decided he didn't want to live in Arizona anymore because the traffic was bad, the people were rude, it was too big of a city, he just wasn't happy. So we talked about it a little bit. We found an apartment in Ruidoso, where I live now, that was pretty cheap, a lot cheaper than what we were paying in Phoenix. So we decided to just pack up our shit and move here. And we still had to pay a month, we thought a month of rent back on my apartment in Phoenix. So we rented it out on Craigslist to some girls that were up here doing a play from Florida. So they rented it out for the entire month, paid us. So that paid our rent that month. And then when we tried to give them our notice that we would be moving out, they said we had to give it 60 days in advance. So we had to stay for an extra month before they would let us leave. So we posted an ad on Craigslist again. We found two separate people that agreed to rent the apartment. So we took that money and paid the rent. And then he got me a job out here working at the best Mexican restaurant in town. It's like super busy. He knew the GM, so the GM was like, just have her come in to our employee meeting and I'll let her start working. So I went to the employee meeting, I started working, and then we didn't cam at all while we were here. We didn't make any videos. We just really didn't get along. It was sad to say, but the main majority of my furniture was still in my apartment in Phoenix, and I couldn't find a way to get to it without him. He had a truck, and he was gonna tow a trailer on his truck to get my furniture, and I couldn't see how I was gonna do it by myself. So I tried to stay with him and put up with all this shit, and I was just so unhappy. And I tried to have friends, and he wouldn't let me have friends. He wouldn't let me go out. He didn't want me camming or making videos or selling panties or doing anything like that. He made me diet. I did lose a lot of weight on this diet, so that was a good thing. But he made me diet. He made me go to the gym, which is, again, not that bad. But he was just always miserable and rude. And if I slept in, he would get mad and pissy and upset with me. But I work nights, so I'm fucking tired in the morning. You know, I don't want to get up at 6 in the morning and do crossword puzzles and eat breakfast and talk over the table like he wanted to do. We wanted like two separate different things, and it was just not working out. Like, I was really unhappy. And one night after work, I went out for drinks with some friends, and he showed up at my work and saw I wasn't there. So he drove around to every bar at town till he found me, and then he came in and caused a huge scene. So we all had to leave, and then instead of just coming home and dealing with it, I went out to another bar because I was pretty drunk. And he showed up there, and security wouldn't let him in because he was throwing such a huge fit. And it just ended really badly. I ended up having to leave as well with him. And he really embarrassed me, and I was afraid to hang out with these people again. I actually haven't hung out with him since. And I don't know, it was really upsetting, and I felt like I couldn't have any friends. I felt like I couldn't talk to anybody. And then everyone at work was talking about what happened too. It was really embarrassing. But so then in April, my GM asked me if I wanted to bartend at the new steakhouse that they had just purchased. It wasn't a new steakhouse. It's been there for like 30 years, but they had just newly purchased it. So I was like, yeah, I want to bartend. I've always wanted to bartend. I would love to bartend. So I go over there. I train on a Wednesday and a Thursday, and then their one bartender quits that Friday, so I became head bartender on my third shift. I had no idea what I was doing. It was super fucking busy. I did a lot of research on Google and YouTube and stuff about liquor and making drinks, and I made like hundreds of flashcards with drink recipes on it, and I really have improved the bar for the better. But so me and Tom ended up breaking up anyway. Um, one morning he woke me up to have sex, and I didn't feel like having sex with him because I was too tired. So he came in the living room and started tasing himself with a taser that he used to keep by the front door. So I got out of bed and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck are you doing? And he's like, I want to feel something. I want to feel pain or something fucking weird. So I guess how people cut themselves, he was tasing himself. So I called my mom, and she was like, you need to break up with him today. Like, do it today. There's no later. There's no I'm going to put up with it anymore. I had already gotten all my furniture here. My apartment in Phoenix was closed out and done with. So I didn't really have a reason to be forced to stay with him anymore. And I hate to say that I used him because I did love him and I did want to be with him, but I also needed him. I needed his support, and it sucks to say that because now I'm super independent and I don't need a man. I don't want a man, but I did need him at the time. So um, yeah, so we separated. At first, we both cried. It was really hard. He told our landlord he was going away for a little while and that he would be back, and he packed all of his shit up, left most of like his furniture and big stuff here for me, left his taser here for me in case I needed it. I don't know, but then I started hanging out with a guy that I work with, who's the guy that I'm now seeing, and there was nothing going on between us when Tom and I were together, but the one night we all went out to the casino, a group of us, and Tom went to the bathroom, and then another server went to the bathroom, and I followed her. And Tom goes, "Why did you go to the bathroom at the same time as John? And why was he telling all these stories to impress you? And why did he hug you goodbye when you left?" I'm like, "Because we're friends, and that's what friends do." And I didn't follow him to the bathroom. I followed Michelle to the bathroom because she knew where it was, and I didn't. And it turned into this huge thing. And he was like, "I know you're getting drugs from him because drugs are really big in New Mexico, you know." And I was like, "No, I'm not doing drugs, and John doesn't sell drugs, so I don't know what you're talking about." But I think Tom accusing us of having something going on is what brought us together, because after we broke up, he was there for me. I talked to him. We went out for drinks together, and he came over, and then one night Tom called me and wanted to come over to talk, and I said I can't. John's coming over, and he's like, "You're choosing him over me. You're choosing him over me," and he flipped out. He drove by my house several times to see what time John left, and his John slept over, so his car was here all night. So Tom got really pissed and came over here and was like, "What time did he leave? What did you guys do? I know he slept over. Did you fuck him? Did you fuck him?" And I had, but I told him no because it was like a new breakup and I didn't want him to overreact and shit. And then he started packing up all his big furniture and taking it because he was now mad at me, so he wanted all his shit out of here. And then one day, John and I and a couple other people from work went back to the casino, and all of a sudden I see him walking up to me, and I'm like, fuck. And he gets in my face and he's like, "You're fucking lying, dirty bitch. I fucking hate your guts. You're a piece of shit." So I push him to get him out of my face, and he goes and tells security and gets me banned for 72 hours. I don't know what the point of that was, but he got me banned for 72 hours. So we ended up just leaving anyway. But now, safe to say, Tom hates my guts. He goes bowling almost every night of the week, so like I won't go to the bowling alley because that's his spot, and I won't go to the furniture store he works at. Not that I'd ever go there anyway because it's super overpriced, but I wouldn't go there. He won't come to Texas Club because he knows I work there, and it was just a really bad breakup. But that's how I ended up in New Mexico. Everyone always says, "How did you move from New Jersey to New Mexico? That's such a difference. What is out there in New Mexico?" I'm like, "Well, I have a really good job. When we broke up, I told my boss because Tom said I'm gonna get you fired. So I talked to my GM who told me I'm an acquaintance of Tom. I'm not Tom's friend. I would never fire you for something personal. So I felt like I was okay there. But yeah, so it didn't end on good terms. He wanted to try and get me fired, but that didn't work out. So my GM was like, "Are you going to leave town? I really want you to stay here." And I was like, "No, I love this job. I'm going to stay. I think bartending is the best job ever, along with running this premium Snapchat. I'm pretty happy with how I'm making my money nowadays." But so I told my GM I was going to stay, and I intend to stay. I've really changed the bar around a lot and made it mine and made it more organized and more, it makes sense now. The liquors are all organized, the wine room's all organized, the backup liquor's all organized, everything is labeled, and I run drink specials every week that I come up with myself. And um, I just, I feel like I found a job that I really fucking like, and I don't want someone to take that from me. So when I started doing this premium Snapchat, I asked my GM if this was going to affect me at work at all, and he told me no, it would be fine because it's my personal life. My personal life should not affect my job at all, as long as I'm not like advertising where I work on my Facebook or advertising my premium Snapchat at work, then it should be fine. Everyone at work knows that I do this, and for the most part, they all support it. They think it's kind of cool to hear my stories, and sometimes I'll show them pictures and shows of what I do. The other bartender, she has filmed me one time. Do a show. She filmed me and the guy I'm talking to do a show on her table one time. He ate me out on her dining room table and she filmed it, so that was pretty funny. But so I show her pictures and shows a lot, and I get some ideas from her. She tells me a lot of good songs to dance to and stuff. So anyway, if if you wanted to know how I ended up in New Mexico from New Jersey, that is how I got here. Um, it's a beautiful town. I don't think I will ever leave or ever go back to New Jersey because this is a resort town. People come here on vacation. There's 3 ski resorts here. There's hiking trails. There's a lake. There's mountains, and it's a desert, but it gets cold. And I don't really like the cold, and I'm not looking forward to the winter. But if we get a good snow season, then we will get a lot of customers coming to the Texas Club where I work, which you probably shouldn't have just said, but come into the bar that I work at. So yeah, I hope it snows. I've never been skiing or tubing or snowboarding or anything like that, so I'm excited to try that this winter. This summer, I was working 60 hours a week I worked a month straight, 60 hours a week, didn't get a single day off. So I didn't really get to do a lot this summer. I missed out on going to the lake and going to the pool and taking my dog to the park and doing all kinds of stuff like that. So I don't know, but I like it here. It's a beautiful town. In the summer, it's great money. Right now, Labor Day ends the busy season because the horse races end, so it slows down a lot in town. It's been really dead at work. We had 12 reservations tonight, 12 people total, so I got sent home early. The other girl who serves is going to bartend for me tonight, so but I do love my job and I do like it here. And I am planning a trip back to New Jersey probably September 24th to October 2nd of this year. So if you're in Jersey and you want to hang out, hit me up. I don't know. I'm looking forward to going home to see my family. It's been a year and a half since I've been home. I don't ever want to move back to New Jersey. I do miss not having to pump my own gas. In Jersey, they pump your gas for you. It's illegal to pump it yourself. And here you have to pump your own gas, and I hate doing that. So I run my tank down to pass E, and a couple weeks ago I was on my way to work and I ran out of gas. So I called the guy I'm talking to, and he was at work already, and he had to get permission to leave to come bring me gas. And the first gas station he went to, all the pumps were closed. So we went to another gas station and got me gas and brought it to me and gave me just enough to get back to the gas station to fill my tank. So I'm gonna try and never do that again because that was embarrassing. I didn't even pull to the side of the road. I was in the middle of the road crying, taking Snapchats of myself like, oh, this sucks. I'm stuck in the middle of the road. But I'm an idiot. It was my fault. I should have known better. Should have got gas. But, and I miss Jersey tomatoes. They're really good. So my friends, my family, not pumping gas, and Jersey tomatoes. That's what I miss about New Jersey. Other than that, I freaking love it here. I plan to stay here for a long time, if not forever. We'll see where this premium Snapchat career takes me. I'm getting a lot of offers for different modeling jobs and porn opportunities and stuff, which I've been turning down for now. But I don't know where it's going to take me. I don't know where I'm going to end up. People tell me there's a lot more opportunity in California or Las Vegas. Why am I living in a small town in New Mexico where there's no photographers and there's no nothing really going on? But I just like it here. I grew up in a small town, so I feel at home here. And I don't know. So that's how I got from New Jersey to New Mexico. So when I say it's a long story, I'm not kidding you. It's a 22-minute story about how I got from New Jersey to New Mexico. So that's why I don't tell everyone. I say it's too long to talk about. I don't feel like talking about it right now. So now I'm going to refer you to this video so that you will know how I got from New Jersey to New Mexico. Thank you. Keep following me.